Welcome. You are tuned into the 2020 Harlem Book Fair. This is Lynn Pinder with Christian Authors on Tour, and I am so excited to be able to introduce you to another panel of Christian authors. Today's panel is Writing as a Tool for Christian Ministry, Part 2. You get an opportunity to hear from these authors, and I want to give you a little background. As Christian authors, we have a call on our lives to write for more than entertainment. The real-life testimonies, nonfiction, and the creative stories, parables, fiction we share in our books help introduce readers to biblical principles that help them lead Christ's full lives. And today is such an honor to be able to have the opportunity to interview for your pleasure 3 authors. We have Apostle Frank A. Willett, we have Veronica E. Berry, and we also have Meghan Connor. And just want to give you the opportunity to hear more about these 3 dynamic authors.
My name is Apostle Frank A. Willett. I live in Baltimore County, Maryland. The name of my book is The Hourglass. Is this the last hour? It's an end-time ministry book that's written in 2 volumes, one for the student and one for the instructor. It took me a year to write this book. This is my 2nd and 3rd book. I was inspired by one of my students who gave me a prophetic word that I should videotape these, and I prayed and came up with writing the books, putting these lessons in print. I type all of my lessons and teach them and send them out via email. I've got over 300 lessons, and I was able to compile them and put them together in book form.
My name is Veronica Berry. I'm from Sanford, Florida, and the title of my book is Meliah, Job's Wife. It is inspirational fiction. It is based on the life of Job and a special emphasis on his wife, Meliah. I was inspired to write the book while I was studying the book of Job, and a question entered my mind that I just could not get rid of, and that was, what about Job's wife? And I answered my own question immediately, and I said, who cares? But the question would not leave me, because yes, she said, curse God and die. But why did she say that? So I started thinking about this woman. She had a God-fearing husband. They were very, very rich. They had a great life. They had servants and friends and family, and they had 10 children. I know she was a proud mother. But something happened. Tragedy came, and all of it was taken away. The physical part, the houses, the land, they could get more of. But you can't bring back 10 children. And I thought about a friend of mine who lost 1. She was feeling very devastated. It's just tragic. But this woman lost 10. So she had 10 devastations at one time. The motherly part of me, the motherly compassion kicked in. And I said, I want to investigate. I want to research. I want to find out why she said what she said. And it was worth my time.
My name is Meghan Connor. I am here in Northern Virginia, and I am the creator behind CRAM Christian Resources, as well as the author of the Christian Resource and Academic Manual. The Christian Resource and Academic Manual is a Christian children's educational workbook series. And at CRAM, what we do is basically we exist to help children reach their highest God-given potential. And we do this through unique educational materials. So what we do is we take the academic piece that kids are already learning at their age group, and then we seamlessly integrate biblical principles and Christian values in order to sort of create a holistic educational experience. The Christian Resource and Academic Manual, while it is structured as a workbook series, there's 4 parts to it: math, life science, social science, and language arts. It also functions as a resource tool and a study guide. So it's very helpful for parents, homeschool parents, religious schools, and things like that.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you hope readers will gain by reading your book.
I hope readers will gain a deeper insight into the scriptures. The scriptures are very, very descriptive, but you will have to study to show yourself approved. I'm always trying to share a nugget that you don't know, that something, give you something that you've never seen before, or to get you to look at it from a different view. Therefore, I had this book written with two different Bibles in mind, the King James Version and the New Living Translation. These versions are very, very descriptive. They are very, very informative. And they give the reader a vast amount of information.
I really want readers to gain from my book that God loves everyone and that he reigns on the just and he reigns on the unjust. And that is the reason why he said in John 3:16, for God so loved the world. Those people who we think are good and those people who we think are bad. Sometimes words come out of our mouths that do not truly reflect what comes out of our heart because of devastation, because of heartache and pain. And for example, Meliah in my story, that is exactly what she went through. And as she was going through a shattered heart and in such pain, she said things she should not have said. And yet I know that God looks beyond our words many times and he sees our heart. And I want people to know that he is a forgiving God. And just like he's a forgiving God, we should be forgiving people. And he will show us how to deal with people who have done us wrong. And he will show us how to forgive in the right way. And that, yes, they will have to have consequences for what they've said or done. And yet he still loves them.
What I hope readers will gain from CRAM is that when you look at traditional academic environments, they tend to focus on a child's reaction to their environment, which is to say, well, they tend to focus on their behavior, which is another way of saying their reaction. And in my opinion, I think that structure, it limits the potential of what the child can become, because what it does is it expands, their possibilities expand no further than the extent to their environment. At CRAM, our workbook series, we tend to focus on a child's conduct. So therefore, we're focusing on the proactive side, the character formation, changed behavior. That's really what we're all about at CRAM. And conduct and character formation is influenced by beliefs, morals, faith, and that's basically the principles undergirding what the CRAM, the Christian Resource and Academic Manual Workbook Series is all about. So that's probably the nutshell of what I want readers to gain from CRAM.
All right, wow. This is so rich and it's so exciting because, you know, whoever is watching, they see the diversity in you as Christian authors. We have a Christian nonfiction author, we have a Christian fiction, inspirational fiction author, and we have a children's book author, but you're all writing for that same purpose and you're using it as a tool for Christian ministry. This is awesome. So I have a question for you. What pearls of wisdom could you share with an aspiring writer?
Well, one of the first things that I would like to share with an aspiring writer is do your research. You spend more time researching your material than you will writing. Research, research, research. Now, the reason I stress research, the deeper you delve into your subject matter, the more you're going to find. So you're going to have to compile your material to make sure that you get enough to keep the reader interested, as I like to say, to whet his or her appetite, to make them want to just not put the book down, but to continue to the next chapter. That's number one. Number two, make sure you stick to the scriptures. Understand the scriptures that you're reading. Understand the material that you're using. And number three, use the vast number of tools that are available to you. There are any number of tools that you can use to get your book written.
I just have to say I totally agree with Apostle because research is very important. And I also have a belief. I believe that Everyone really has a story to tell, whether it is a how-to book or a novel or life experiences. And if in your heart you believe God is asking you to write a book, go for it, do it, make it happen. You may not feel confident, but God will connect you with the people that you need to help you turn it into something beautiful or even miraculous. He will give you experts on editing, on grammar, on sentence structure. He will give you what you need to accomplish the dream, desire, the goal that he put in your heart and you are longing so much to do. So start typing, start recording, and just get it down. Tell your story.
Sometimes I feel like one of those aspiring writers because I've only been doing it for a little bit, but I would have to say passion. Passion is what fuels me. Passion to, I always say this, that what we teach children or what we fail to teach them for that matter is what they take into the world. It's what their contribution to society will be. So the passion in order to impact their lives, to go out and be just sustainable, functioning, good-hearted, moral individuals is where I start. And I started with children. So passion is really the big thing for me.
All right, all right. I want you to talk also, we're wrapping up, but I just want you to give me a brief answer on why it's so important to use writing as a tool for Christian ministry.
I find it so important because it's educational. My people perish for lack of knowledge. If we can put it in book form where they can understand it, we can make it as plain as a child can understand, we can learn something. From the oldest to the youngest, we have a variety of authors here that have a variety of platforms to write. The Bible is the greatest book that's ever been written and ever read. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible to inform you what God wants you to do.
I want my tool to be simple so that no matter if a person has a college degree or if that person did not finish high school, that person can read my book and still be ministered to. It is a tool that hopefully will draw them closer to Christ, draw them closer to forgiveness, draw them closer to understanding the love of God and confession of sin. So no matter what I write about, I want to make sure I include this as a tool to draw Christians closer to Jesus.
Why use writing as a tool? The written word lasts. You know, I mean, you look at what we're all basing our writings off of, the Bible. The written word is here and it's here forever and it's here long after we're gone. And I think that's, for me, that's the biggest thing. And that's probably the biggest influence because it will always be here.
Wow, I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this panel discussion today. This was just amazing. And for our viewing audience, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to remind you that each of these authors will be on tour with Christian Authors on Tour in 2021. So I want to encourage you to visit the website, www.christianauthorsontour.com. You also, please be sure to stay tuned. Once this is over, you will be able to see the contact information for each of these authors. And if you aren't able to get it there, you can also go to the website, www.christianauthorsontour.com. We're so excited and honored that you were able to share with us today. And we're excited to be part of the 2020 virtual Harlem Book Fair. What a historic moment. And until next time, Apostle Willett, everybody, thank you so much. Take care. Are you a Christian author on fire for God?
and committed to using writing as a tool for Christian ministry? If so, you should consider joining Christian Authors on Tour. Give us a call, 800-929-1418.